Good morning. It's raining Sunday. Before reading this book, I have one question. Mr. Daydream giggled and said, "Splendid." Why did he say that? Let's start. Little Miss Splendid. Nothing was too good for little Miss Splendid. She lives in a huge house surrounded by large gardens. She slept in an enormous bed with a silk sheet and silk pillowcases. She bathed in a gold bath and she dined off silver plate. Oh, she was splendid. At least she thought so. Little Miss Splendid thought a lot of herself. In fact, she thought about little else. One day, while taking a stroll around her gardens, little Miss Splendid came upon a small door in one of the walls. She never noticed it before. I wonder what stood here, she thought, and opening the door, she stepped it through. She found herself on a road. Along came Mr. Small, out for a short walk. "Good morning," he remarks politely, raising his hat. Little Miss Splendid stuck her nose even higher in the air and walked past him as if he wasn't there. What a common little man, she thought to herself. She came to a bus stop. Mr. Happy and Mr. Daydream were waiting for a bus into town. "Hello," grinned Mr. Happy. "Who are you?" She replied, "am Splendid." "Oh," said Mr. Happy. "Are you going to catch the bus?" asked Mr. Daydream. "Me?" she said. "The bus? Never. She went on, have never ever in the whole of my life traveled on a bus." An expression of distaste crossed her face. "You have to sit next to people on buses," she went on, "and that would never do." "Oh," said Mr. Happy, and scratched his head. He couldn't think of anything to say. Miss Splendid walked up with her nose very high in the air. Mrs. Splendid arrived in town. She looked at herself in the old shop windows as she walked down the street. "I must say," she thought of herself, "I do look absolutely splendid." And then something caught her eyes. There, in the middle window of the hat shop, was a hat. Not just a hat and a harp. The most magnificent, sumptuous, desirable, gorgeous, spectacular, amazing, splendid hat you ever seen. Miss Splendid marched into the shop. She snapped her fingers, and a sales lady hurried to her side. "Good morning, ma'am," the sales lady said. Miss Splendid ignored her. "Can I help you?" "I," announced Miss Splendid, "wish to try on a hat in the window." Miss Splendid looked at herself in the mirrors. "Magnificent," she breathed. "I look absolutely magnificent." "I will take it," she announced. "But don't you want to know how much it cost?" asked the sales lady. "Cost? Curious." Miss Splendid laughed. "I never discuss money matters. Send me the bill." and she marched out of shop. Little Miss Splendid stood on the pavement and held up her hands. "Taxi!" she announced in a loud, important voice. A taxi stopped it. "Take me home," she ordered, and went to get it. But of course she couldn't. Her new hat was much too large to fit through the taxi door. "Driver," she said, "you should purchase yourself a large taxi." In the meantime, she went on, I shall walk." The taxi driver grinned. The little Miss Splendid walked alone. "Perhaps it's better to walk," she thought to herself, "so that everyone has the chance to admire my magnificent new hat." And then it happened. It started to rain, like today. And the trouble was, the more it started to rain, the more it rained. And trouble was, the more it rained, the more Miss Splendid got wet. And trouble was, the wetter she got, the wetter her hat got. What a sorry sight, don't you agree? The bus, on its return journey from town, passed her. Mr. Happy and Mr. Daydream, on their way home and sitting in the dry, looked out of the window. "I say," remarked Mr. Happy, looking out at the bead-raised figures trudging along the wet. "What a splendid sight!" Mr. Daydream giggled. "Splendid," he agreed. Mr. Splendid, looking anything but splendid, arrived home, however, after hot bath in her golden bath, and after boiled egg in a golden egg cup, eaten with a silver spoon, she felt much better. In fact, later on, she spent an extremely pleasant evening looking at, well, what do you think did she spend all evening looking at? No, not television. Herself in a mirror. Thank you.